In a place called Hobbytown, there are all manner of collectors. He's a cantankerous commenter who is decidedly fresh to the hobby.
What do you say there, liver lips?
And he's a country gentleman, getting by on good old-fashioned Southern charm.
But when I'm with my cards, I am carefree like a 12-year-old.
Can two vintage card collectors coexist in conversation without driving each other crazy?
The cracked ice house treasures kaboomy.
Kaboomies.
Kaboomy, one of one.
You got to get some Southern drawl in this YouTube community, man.
This is Hobby Talk with the Odd Couple, Tony the Southern Collector and Mike Petty.
Mike,
Hey, what do you say? What do you know there, beaver feet?
we made it to episode 4, man.
Hey, that's hard to believe.
You know,
Most partnerships break up much quicker.
Yeah, I don't think the Beatles lasted this long. I'm going to do the whole thing in that accent that I do in that intro. I'm going to talk like this the whole
I thought you do.
time.
That's
I'm
what
going
it
to say,
sounds like to
Mr.
me.
Petty, what do you think, man? We can, you can talk. I want to hear your best California accent. Let's hear it.
I do it right now. This is my California drawl. I can do my Mickey Mantle Southern drawl, but it's not very good.
You did sound like Mr.
I
Man.
did a little, yeah.
Yeah. I saw an old interview with Bob Costas the other day on YouTube with him recounting how sorry he was for how he lived and all that. And he still had that old Southern drawl. And he ain't lived in Oklahoma at that point forever.
Yeah, here's to the Mick.
Yeah, the Mick was a good man.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, awesome to get back on here, man. I feel like we ain't been on here in like 2 months. And
It's been at least 30 days.
Yeah, it has. So tonight we got a lot to talk about, man.
We'll see. I think you got a few things lined up for us tonight, right?
Yeah. But to break the ice, we ain't showed any pickups in a while. You want to show some new cards?
Yeah, I'd be happy to show some cards here that I've picked up lately. Here, this is one that we did show it a little bit on Dan the Question Man's channel.
Yep.
But these are the kind of cards that I'm collecting these days. The ones with my appeal.
Yeah.
Now Dan likes to call it own appeal.
Own appeal.
And I heard Jeremy Lee quote it the other day.
I did.
But come on, let's get something straight around here. If there's names to be given, I'm the key name dropper because I've been making up names since I was a kid. I mean, I've given nicknames to everybody, my friends, and plus, when you make a nickname, it's gotta roll off your tongue. Own appeal. How does I appeal and own appeal sound good? It's my appeal. My appeal. That's what I'm trying to tell the card community.
Yep.
So that's what I'm picking up lately is with cards, which the back on this one's also, it's pretty good. It's got a nice crease on the top, which you can see. But the thing I like about it is I got it like $500 less than it was about 6-8 months ago. I think I bid on it in an auction and I was the underbidder, and then I was able to buy it on eBay for less.
Yeah.
So people are trying to flip them on eBay, and I'll be happy to pay them less than I originally bid on it. So
yeah,
won't leave
my collection. Mangini today did a video. I don't know if you saw it, but he was talking about do you upgrade your cards? Like if you like that Cobb. Mm-hmm. Now that you have that Cobb, would you ever look for a better copy of it?
No, because because the thing is, I look at it. It's centered really nice, Yeah. Take another look at this thing. The colors are great.
Yeah.
His face the registration is really pretty good.
Yeah.
Other than that one little streak across the top, and it doesn't go through the back. So I really like the card. I got a good deal on it. I just put it away. And it's my appeal, and there's no need to go back and try to spend $20,000 on a, PSA 4 perfectly centered with dishonest corners. I don't need it.
And then if you do spend that money, then you ain't buying another card, and then you got to sell that one. It just creates a bunch of crap.
It really is. I don't want to have any doubles, and as you know, I'm not great at selling cards. I mean, it's one of those things. We're going to talk a little bit about like consolidation, because I think
Yeah,
you've done it a couple times in the last past couple months,
yeah.
and it's not like you need to,
Now,
but it's
you want to
sure,
just jump?
yeah, it
We gonna
sure
jump into
makes.
that, or you want to show some more cards?
Yeah, well, I mean, I can show another one that I got
You got
recently.
another one?
I mean, I got about five here. Here's a beautiful Smoking Joe Frazier. I know you love this. I think you even might even have this card, don't you?
No, I don't have that one.
You
Yeah, I
don't
do.
like?
Yeah, I do. I do
Yeah,
have that one. Yep.
yeah. I think you bought that at a five. It
Yep.
was like $1,000 at an auction. Somebody put it for 2,000 on eBay the next day, and you bought it on eBay after I told
Yep.
you about it.
Yeah, that's
So you
right.
were really excited to overpay for it. So I got that one.
Yep.
And let's see what else. What about you? Did you get anything?
Yeah. So I got a couple of signed cards as
Yeah.
usual. I got this Koufax.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's beautiful. I got this couple in the REA
He
auction.
looks a little Italian in that picture, doesn't he?
Yeah, that was an ode to your buddy Greg. I got me another mantle. Go with my signed mantle run. Make some card number
Yeah,
5.
let's take a look at this signature right here for
Look
the
at that.
class. If you would look at this pen signature, first of all, look at where that is penned. Like, look at how perfect it hits that uniform in that
Yeah.
sweet spot. Now,
Yeah.
if you're going to collect cards that are signed, class, this is what you want.
Yep.
That pen with a perfect sweet spot. You don't need that squiggly lines right in the middle of all the black and a card
Yep.
that's not meant to be signed. That card almost looks like it was meant to be signed. Probably
Yeah.
one of his nicest cards. That card's gorgeous right there.
Yeah. And then this
Nice
one,
job.
I'm about to show you one that's not as vintage,
Yeah.
but it's this Ken Griffey rookie card signed.
Yeah, I've seen this signed. And first of all, I'm starting to think I like this card better than the upper deck card.
It's
And not
beautiful.
only that, especially signed, because again, look at the sweet spot. Look at where the junior hits the bat. And this is a badass card.
It is. It's
Yeah.
awesome. It's the traded.
And he's got
But
a really nice, signature
so here's
too.
the point I want to make about that Griffey.
Hmm.
Uh, those junk wax era cards are starting to get some traction
Hmm.
because guys my age, 55 years old, that's the stuff we were opening, and the guys a little younger. And so
Hmm.
the problem is that card alone, now that's a traded card, right? So it wasn't, I guess, as widely distributed as the main set. There's 88,000 of those in I think it was 88,000 in the PSA graded registry. And there's only 700 and something of them signed. So less than 1% of those are signed.
Well, by the time he dies, there'll be
Maybe it's
70,000 signed.
8,000. I don't know. It was something like
Yeah.
that. But less than 1% signed.
Mhm.
So if you're going to collect one of those, they're not going to be worth crap because there's so
Will
many.
he sign those on a TTM basis? Do you know, or does he charge for that? Or no, he's not
I
doing
have
that.
no idea.
No. I wonder if anybody,
Never. I don't know. Has he ever been to a
everybody
national?
knows.
You know?
I've never seen him sign. I mean, I don't know. I don't go to the signings or I don't follow it or anything, so I really don't know. But if I ever had to have him sign a card, that'd be the one. I mean, that one really pops out there at you.
Yeah.
It's
So I've got
nice.
that's my third rookie of his signed. I've got the upper deck. I've got that one, and I can't remember which the other one I got. But
Good.
anyways, I'm
That's
fired
good
up
for
about
you.
that.
You think Griffey was good, so that's good for you.
Oh, shut up. But
I
Griffey
mean,
was
I don't mind it, but I don't collect players that were on steroids.
he wasn't on roids. Are you
Shit.
kidding me?
Oh,
He's
come
the
on.
one guy that was clean.
Oh my God! Just because he
Come
had his hat
on, man. Do we
backwards,
really need to go there right
just because
now?
he had his hat on backwards, you don't think he was on steroids when everybody was
Look,
doing it.
I got
There
my
you
hat
go.
on backwards and I ain't on no steroids.
You
Let's
look good.
go.
You look good like that.
Well, thanks, but
Uh,
he looked
no,
better.
no. Yeah, you look better like that.
Well, yeah, thank you. It
No,
shows
I
your
just.
receding hairline a little too much. So
That's funny.
you want to jump into the consolidation? Our buddy Greg Miller came out with
Yeah.
a video, which is good time. And today we're recording this on Monday. It'll be
Mhm.
released tomorrow on the Tuesday.
Mhm.
And so it's good timing for him to do that because we had already planned on talking about this. But
Yeah.
like he was saying, a lot of people are consolidating, and you can do it with small cards. $100 cards. If some people, that's not small, but I mean, let's just say you sell off $100 cards and buy a bigger card, or you got Jeremy Lee who used that service, and man, it looked like he sold off about 50 or 60, and a
I don't
lot of
know what I'd like to talk to him about it and to see how that. I mean, that's still an ongoing process for him. I mean, ideally, you'd really like to plan for your purchase,
yeah,
and I can certainly see the fascination with consolidation. I mean, a lot of people, they fall out of favor with some of their cards, or they just want to consolidate. They may have a million cards and they might want to knock it down to 500,000.
yeah,
Or like, or maybe if it's guys that have 1,000, they might not, they want to knock it down to 500, or
yeah,
they want to have some beefier car, and they have some things to get rid of. So I mean, for me, I'm not against it per se, but I certainly I wouldn't want to start grabbing all my top shelf stuff to turn it over like in a week.
yeah,
So I certainly, for me, I wouldn't buy anything that I was not prepared to pay cash for the next day.
yeah,
But if I was to plan it, and I've tried this because I have a couple of friends, specifically one guy I'm thinking of. He probably knows who he is. He sends cards to 4 square quarters, and they're all highly graded stuff that they may have bought at one time for sets, but for whatever reason now he's ready to cash them out because they've gone up probably tenfold or whatever. He spends them all in there, gets a big fat check, turns them all into a picture perfect, bonus baby, what I
yeah,
call it, a grail card, and or at least supplements his buying. And he's a guy that could probably buy whatever the fuck he wants,
yeah,
like you. But
yeah,
you don't do that. You practice some great restraint for the most part.
yeah, I do.
And I've watched you over the last couple of months. You planned on that one Jackie Robinson card that you were hell bent on, which I don't blame you. That beautiful, was it a
The,
49
the 49 Bowman.
49 Bowman, and I love of the game.
Yeah,
And you really went out on a limb, and you had that couple of cards that you were gonna, if you got it, you were gonna sell it. You had them turned over, and
yeah.
that's a good way to do it too.
Yeah, so
So
I've
I
tried
certainly
3
see.
times. The
Yeah,
first time I tried was a freaking disaster, and I've never
yeah,
really told this story before. I alluded to it before, but I'm gonna tell the story right now.
yeah. Please
I
do.
had bought a 1936 Worldwide Gum Joe DiMaggio pre-rookie or rookie, whatever one you wanna call it, and, those are pretty scarce,
It's
and I
a
paid
very coveted card in the hobby.
yeah.
Yeah.
But man, I got it on eBay on a killer deal, and it was in a SGC 4. It was a fantastic card. And
Was.
I I got it, but man, it was one of those things. I bought it because I thought, man, I can't not do that. If he's going to offer me the card for that price, because it was they were asking a lot more than what I made him some crazy lowball offer, and he took it. So
Hmm.
at that point, I felt like I had to do it because it was such a good deal. But after I got the card, I liked it, but I didn't love it. And for the amount of money I spent on it, I needed to love that card. And so at
Yeah.
that point was when I got into my Joe Jackson craze. And there was this card right here was coming up for auction on Leland's,
Yeah.
and
That's a
I wanted that card.
beautiful.
And I knew that card was going to be cheaper than the Worldwide Gum.
I like that card better too.
I do too. And I knew I
Mhm.
would love it better. And I didn't want to. I thought, well, shoot, I got this card. It's real expensive.
And but you
And
do
I'm
know
not
that
crazy
worldwide
about
gum, worldwide gum card has gone up about fivefold in the last, since probably since you bought it, maybe.
it. Yeah.
I mean, it
So I'll tell
really
you,
on top of
just
it, but so is that one.
in complete, right here, honest, I paid 45,000 for
Hmm.
it. Okay.
It's probably
So
$100,000 card or more
that's
today.
what I bought it for, which
Hmm.
was a killer deal even then. And
Hmm.
so I kept it not even quite a year. But when I bought it, I posted on Instagram, and I had Ash reach out to me and say, dude, where did you get that card? And I told him, and he kind of joked. He said, man, I need to hire you as a bird dog because you're finding you got the mantle for real cheap. You got that for real cheap. He said, you're finding cards like I would love to have because, you're getting them for so cheap. And I said, yeah, I know. So when I decided to move it, I reached out to Ash and I said, hey, dude, would you like to consolidate this car? You get a little fee. I sell it. the Nationals coming up. If by anything you could sell it by then. He's like, dude, I'd love to have this card. There's no comps on it. We can price it high, see what happens. He said, but there's people out there that would love to have this card because it's so scarce. So I
Right.
sent it to him. He had it at the Chantilly show one weekend. I actually sent it to him there, overnighted it to him. He got it, put it in the case, put it on Instagram and Facebook that he had it. And then the next weekend he was at Dallas and he put it on Instagram and Facebook. And he called me on Saturday and said, dude, I got a guy that reached out to me. He saw it on Facebook and he wants it, but he wants to give me, I think it was 65,000 for it. He said, is that good enough? I said, absolutely. That's good enough. I'll take that. He said, well, it could be, once we start negotiating, it could get to 60, but I'm not really sure, but it's going to be in that range. I said, that sounds awesome. He said, well, I'm going to close the deal with him. We're probably going to hand it off at the National because it was like 2 weeks after that. And I'll be able to give your money there. I said, nah, that's awesome, dude. So the next day he calls me, and me and my wife were on our way back from Florida. He calls me in the car, and my wife, I got him on speaker, and my wife's like, who's that? I said, oh, that's Ash. He must have sold my car. And I said, hey, man. He said, Tony, I got some bad news. I said, what happened? He said, your car was stolen, man. I said, what? It was stolen? He said, yeah, it was in that case. He said it was in a Zion case, and we were packing up to leave, and he told me the whole story. And I'm going to give Ash credit for this. He said, I want you to hear the story from me before you see it on the news, because it's going to hit hobby news. It's going to be on the news. And I want you to hear it from me. He said, but I'm telling you this right now. I'm going to make you whole. I will make sure if insurance doesn't pay for it, I'll take care of you. He said, because it was in my care, it was my responsibility. And that made me feel better. So then this whole thing goes on, and I had to watch on the news. I had to watch everybody blasting Ash, saying it was inside job and all this other crap. And I'm
Was
like,
it?
no, it wasn't no inside job. If it was, I wasn't in on it. So this is where I want to go with this.
Yeah.
My insurance, CSI Insurance, collector
CIS.
or CIS, collector's insurance. Guys, I cannot tell you what an awesome company they are. Now, where I
Yeah.
screwed up, anything over $25,000, you got to have it itemized on your list as a separate item. But I didn't do that. I didn't read the small print. So the most they told me I would get was 25,000. That's
Mhm.
all but they paid me. It took
Mhm.
like 8 months.
As I recall, they didn't want to pay you. They tried to look for a loophole though at first, right?
They
I mean,
said it couldn't be part of dealer stock.
yeah, that kind of
And
concerned
because
me as somebody who uses them. But I have never given a card off like that. But that doesn't mean I
But
wouldn't.
man, I didn't hire a lawyer. I didn't fire back at them and cuss them out.
Right.
I just let it be because they sent me a certified thing with that little small print. But man, they ended up paying me. And then Ash
Well,
paid me the
that's
rest.
good. Right.
So I got paid off. So my first effort at consolidating was a freaking nightmare. And I honestly, man, when that card was stolen, it was such a punch in the gut. I felt like I
Especially
left.
with your wife, dude. How did that go over with your wife?
I
My
mean,
wife would have
she was,
shut me
it
down.
made me feel bad. I assured her that because she heard Ash say that
Yeah.
on the speaker on the phone
And
and
because
on
you know
the
how reliable card dealers are.
car. Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm gonna
Well,
praise Ash on this one, dude.
absolutely. Well, this is the other reason why guys like I mean, we're not the only one in our group, our mid-tier buying group, let's say, that use Ash for these kind of
Yeah.
cards, you know.
So
And
when I
this
was
is
at
why. And this is
Bronxville and I was on the spending spree, a lot of
yeah.
that money was that DiMaggio money I was using. So that was when I was buying the Walter Johnsons and the
That
Matthew
man,
yeah, So then
yes.
just recently, so in Greg's episode, he talks about this. There's different reasons for consolidating. My reason is there's a card that comes down the pike, man, that is just a card that is offered to you. I had a guy reach out to me and he said, hey,
Hmm.
I got this card. I knew he had it. He said, I'm willing to sell it to you. I said, are you freaking crazy? Are you for real? There's less than 30 of these in the world. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You'll have to wait and see when I go
Okay.
to
Well,
the video. Because I
I
reached out
do.
and told you the deal, and I told Greg Miller. There was a few people I reached out and said, "Am I crazy?" But what I did, I sold. I sold my 52 mantle. I sold it, and I sold two other really nice cards. Now, one, I can get another one. I can get another 52 mantle. The other one I had doubles of. So I'm not going to tell you which one that is,
I
but
know which one that is. I know
I
which one
had
that is.
doubles.
You can tell everybody. They know you had doubles of it.
Well, it was the signed 55 Jackie. And so
Yeah,
I
and
had
it was
doubles.
one that you couldn't read. It said jerk Rob across his
So
neck.
I made the decision. Mantles in our hobby are like the most liquid currency that you can have. You can sell those, and so I sold it. And
Yeah.
I sold it like that. I raised $100,000 to buy this card within 36 hours just by selling those cards. And I sold
I
them
mean, that's
just
pretty impressive.
I sold them for a little bit more than I paid, but it wasn't like
Hmm.
some kind of flipper action. Now, it
Hmm.
did cross my mind that am I being a freaking hypocrite? Because I did an episode on that mantle and called it my grail card, and I'm selling the freaking thing.
Well,
So,
you must have got a nicer grail card, I guess, for you.
but I can go
I
get
don't know.
another one. I can't get another one of this card that I just bought. I
Hmm.
can't. This is the card I bought has not been sold publicly in over a year.
And we talked a little bit about maybe like being that you've been getting some really nice signed mantles now,
Yeah,
and you've moved some mantles. You moved some mantles for
yeah,
your last signed Jackie card, and it
yeah.
seems like your collection is definitely morphing into a lot more signed cards. So hey, maybe a signed 52 mantle isn't out of the question.
You never know.
You know, there's a
That
lot of
man,
there's
that'd be
there, there's a
$500,000.
no, I don't think so. I think you can get a nice, run over by a truck one with a nice signature, because that's all you really want. You want something presentable with the signature on it that's
Yeah,
nice, clean, something clean like that, because the signatures on those cards generally look pretty good.
yeah. Well,
But
so what's would you ever consolidate, or are you
I would
pretty
never
set?
consolidate to that level. No, I mean, would I tear down my collection and sell some stuff? Sure. But like I said, I'm pretty much not going to commit to anything that I don't have the cash in the bank to buy. I mean, the other day I was just a few days ago, sports card dad. Like, so I've watched him since day one. I always tell the guy that I do I really like him, but I
Yeah,
just can't watch his stupid show anymore with the 5 minutes of commercials, and he's got a lot of clickbait, and
yeah.
which again I don't I think there should be more clickbait in the hobby, and with some of the mistakes that the people do, sort of like when I say, oh, I hate VRs, I hate fucking GIF videos. It's not that I hate them. It's like, don't put them in your stupid title. I mean, I'm somebody that's been watching. I don't have a YouTube channel, so I'm trying to tell you guys, what I look for, and when I click, and when I have, if I see the letters VR, first of all, nobody ever uses the letters VR in any stupid
I didn't even
video
know what
in
it
any
meant for a
genre.
year.
It's only for cards. So it's like, why would you're just going to get lost in the algorithm. But if you don't care, but again, according to some of these YouTubers, they do care. I mean, Brent Richards, he cared,
Yeah,
which I watched his video the other day, and
yeah,
here's a guy. I mean, I've known him for 5 years in the comment section. I mean, he was always in the chat. Then he comes out, he starts his channel, and he's got a really neat collection.
yeah.
A very eclectic collection. Nolan Ryan. I mean, stuff that you just don't really see. And
Mhm.
there's definitely people that want to watch that. Like now for me, I don't comment on all this stuff. I occasionally, no, I don't watch everything he does because it's not
Yeah,
for me. Do
yeah,
I love the guy? But I'll tell you what I do watch, and that I will hope that he still does, is I like shows.
yeah,
Okay, podcast, kind of like this, kind of like we're
yeah,
talking, and that's why I think our show is pretty decent. But it's not only us; it's any guy. I mean, anytime you do a two-person show where you're talking about the hobby, it's just more engaging
yeah.
than trying to show cards and show and people do like to see cards, but most of them don't. But getting to the point was the thing that he does with Shoebox Legends with Shane.
Yeah, it's really good.
These guys have they've only done like us 4 or 5 episodes. I think it seems like everybody kind of finds their pair. to some degree, where Darren has Greg. They match up well.
Yeah.
Moynihan seems to have Yogi. They tend to play off each other really
Yeah.
well. And then and us um and frankly,
And Sammy and Jason do great.
Sam and Jason, yeah, those guys. But you can go on. You have the spitballing guys. Those four. There's
Yeah.
another show I watch. I don't care about one thing that they talk about. To be honest with you, I don't collect anything that they do, but I love their show.
Yeah.
And I'll
I haven't
always
watched them.
and I'll always go in there and comment on. They do a couple of them do the live show, and they're always talking about the hobby. So like these things, I do like. Jeremy Lee, another talk show. He has the
Yeah.
guests on, and frankly, I like the lives better than the recordings.
Yeah,
So
their lives are awesome.
so if you're not doing, I'm more likely to watch a live and comment on the
Yeah.
chat. And I try to leave comments on everybody's channel that I watch. I even if it's just something stupid, but I want to let them know that I saw it or whatever, and
Yeah.
try to help or try to
Yeah.
boost them up or get them into the algorithm or what. But you don't put the VRs in, you don't put the GIF videos. There's just certain rules. And
Yeah.
even with you on our show, I've been telling you since day one to put some highlights in there, like what we've talked about. And
Yeah.
you just put down Odd Couple number 3, and nobody cares, nobody watches it unless they're a couple of your fans or people who like to listen to bullshit. But I
So
mean
let's
that's
talk
just for,
about
yeah,
the Brent Richards thing.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I've watched some of his episodes. He's not,
Hmm.
and I'll be completely upfront. I don't watch all of them. That doesn't
Hmm.
mean I don't think he's a fantastic collector. I've only got a few hours in my day to where I can watch some, and so I can't watch all. And there's some
Hmm.
that I just don't miss.
Me
And
too.
his wasn't one of those, but I still watched
Hmm.
him.
Yeah,
Now
and
he
he's the
made a
nicest
comment.
guy. I mean, really, I
Yeah,
want
he
to just
seems like a fantastic
he
guy.
really is. I mean, I've
And
talked to him a
so,
couple times on the phone, and good family guy and stuff. And so, look, this is not for everybody. There's
yeah,
a
well,
reason why I'm one of the only guys that come on this stupid YouTube who doesn't have a channel.
tell me
And like
why
I
you
said,
ain't got one.
why
Why
do you?
ain't you got a
It's
channel?
because I, even though I do have a thick skin over certain things. And I've
No.
always, no, seriously, I've always have. No, 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 I really do. I really do. I've always had a fairly thick skin, but on certain things, maybe I'm a little too thin skinned. Like if I put out something really funny and I know it's great and I get 500 views or something like that, when I maybe always get 1,000 or maybe I only get 20, I don't know.
Yeah,
I am not going to put myself up to that
yeah,
because I know it would aggravate me.
yeah,
Or like, why didn't I get this? Or why are people not appreciating me? I, I'm at the point now, I don't give a shit, but I'm certainly not going to have a channel and try to find out
yeah,
because I know myself. I'm
yeah,
going to be 64 next month. I'm
yeah,
one of the oldest guys in this hobby. I'm technologically challenged. It's amazing that I can even do what I'm doing here.
yeah,
And as far as like having a show with you and work, as it is, nobody came knocking on my door. Hey, you've been on all these shows. It took people 2 years before they could finally stomach me. A lot of people coming out here on YouTube, and they
yeah,
wouldn't have me on. Now I've been on a few more shows here and there, and when I'm asked to go on anybody's channel, I don't care who it is. If I have time and I'm here, I will go on with them, no matter what. I don't.
yeah.
I mean, I've had
That's how
guys get 50 views and guys get 5,000 views. I don't
yeah,
care.
yeah,
So it's like I like doing it this way, and that's why I do it. I don't want to be beholden to the numbers, to have to put a video out every week or every, oh, I
yeah,
gotta make it. And I've always said I respect everybody who does it because I can't do it. So I can do a lot of things, but I
yeah.
can't do
So
that.
here's my way of thinking
Mhm.
about it. Brent, he is free to do what he wants. He can put out a video saying he's done all the
Yeah,
stuff he did. I'm cool with that. I'm not
yeah,
going to get on and bash him. But
no,
I will
no.
say this: the one thing he said, how it was frustrating. I see that. That
Of
he's
course it
putting
is, and
something
I've been
out there.
frustrated before.
But me, when I did it being started channel, it was very the whole reason I did it is because I saw the community that everybody was having in Strongsville the year before last. And then I went to the national and went to the get together and saw everybody slapping each other on the back and having a good time. And I saw the community. I didn't have that.
Hmm.
I had the
Hmm.
Instagram. I even tried to reach out to some of my Instagram buddies before we went to the national and saying, hey, dude, I want to meet you on the floor. And we could never figure out how to do it. I met 2 guys in my Instagram group out of like 15
This is the national, though.
at the national
You
in
can't find
Cleveland.
anybody at the national.
No, I
That's why
know,
it's. I mean,
but I found the YouTube get together at the
well that
VFW.
well
So
that
I
worked out
went
for you.
there and I saw a community. So that's
So
why
you
I
do have
started
to
my
put yourself
channel.
out there. You have to put yourself out there,
Yeah.
and
But I
then when
did
you
it for
talk to
that
different
reason,
people.
though. I
Hmm.
didn't do it because I thought I was going to make money. I didn't do it because
Well,
I
let's
wanted
face
to
it.
see
This is
how
not a
successful.
money-making venture for anybody.
No, man.
Anybody that's doing this, I
So
mean, you're
I'm just
kidding
speaking for
yourself.
myself. It's
Yeah.
been rewarding. Not, yeah. I mean, my channel has grown really
Hmm.
fast.
Hmm.
I can't explain that, but
Hmm.
I'm doing it just for the fun of doing it because I enjoy it. I enjoy talking to you.
Yeah.
I enjoy having the collector spotlight. I enjoy going on like the 3D 80 kid with John and doing the
Oh,
auction.
I mean, talk about that guy. He's been one. He wanted to quit 6 months ago or so. And here's a guy that spends a lot of time doing his videos with his
Yeah,
edits and he's asking people like, what should I do? Do you like these edits? I mean, I told the guy, look, I love those edits. I mean, nobody else is doing that. I said, if that makes you happy, you need to continue to do
yeah,
that,
yeah,
because and he's creative that way. And
yeah,
but and then that auction show, he had me on the first couple of times. I tried to tell him, look, it's not about me. This is the way these auction shows, it's about the auction.
yeah,
You need to, and look, and that show is starting to get more established. He's starting to get more established.
yeah.
He
And to
actually
plug it
looks he
real
looks
quick.
like less of a frog now with his big beard. No,
next
I'm just kidding,
weekend,
Joe.
next weekend we got an auction show. So y'all tune in to 3D
Yeah.
80s kid. We're gonna
Now
do
I
an
won't be
auction
there,
show.
but they have rotating guests, as you know,
Yeah,
like we
yeah.
should.
So I'll
You
be
know,
on there. It's gonna
like
be
they
a gold.
used to do that. Matthew used to do it on with the bald therapist guy. I've told you that before. Which
Yeah,
one with the PWCC, which I always enjoyed that. Uh, he'd be another good guy he's done it before. He has experience. So I know you guys are going to have another guest host breaking
yeah,
in, and
yeah.
I haven't been available the last couple of times. So
Yeah, it's gonna be
it's
me, John, 3D, 3D 80s kid, and Rick, vintage oddball cards,
yeah.
and TJ is online. So that's the
Okay, so
4.
you
So
busted.
it'll
So
be
you
fun.
basically just, you ruined poor John's thunder. But he's got a niche audience. He doesn't have 3,000 subscribers yet, like he should.
He should be. Listen, if you're watching this right now, subscribe to John's channel, 3D 80s kid. Let's put him over 1,000. He works really
He
hard
doesn't
at
have over
that.
1,000 yet.
No, he works really hard at his
I mean,
channel, and that
that's
guy needs to
criminal.
get over 1,000. That's crazy.
Yeah,
So
it
yeah, put
really
him over
is.
that. So a couple of the comments on that video that Brent did, like I heard several people say this. It seems like YouTube content people are now just making videos for other YouTube guys. What the
There's a
crap are
VR.
they
That's the
talking
VR
about?
that I'm telling you about. Nobody wants a VR.
Is that what he's talking about?
Well, I mean, that's what it sounds like. I mean, they're making it for other guys. We want to make it for we're kind of telling stories about our collecting journey, and we're hoping that, look, I'm only doing this because for one reason. And the reason is I really actually want to help people if they want to listen, and I think that I'm trying to get one person that will listen to reason because, and I don't care if you don't, but as you probably know it, we're business owners. Okay. I'm not a great listener. Wasn't a great listener as a kid, probably. But the one thing I did listen to was I listened to my friends who knew more about business.
Yeah,
I was always a salesman. I was always middling around. I was bankrupt 30 years ago, as you guys might know. And I got into this particular business I was in, and I remember making $300 a week, and I was a single dad, and I was struggling. I was happy though in this business, and I knew that I wanted to work for myself, but I didn't know what. I thought I found it, and I had a couple of friends that I've had since junior high school that had their own businesses. They always took me under their wing. They always would give me encouragement, tell me to go back to school, tell me to do certain things, or and I always ran things by them. They gave me advice.
yeah,
And I fucking listened, Tony.
yeah.
I mean, so
Funny how
you
it works.
listen to people who know more, but people don't want to listen in this hobby. And that's
Yeah.
why I joke about it with the my appeal, the I appeal. Nobody wants to listen to my point of view as a collector that I've been, longer than they have. And this was my point watching PPP boy, Jeff Goof Wilson,
Yeah.
watching that guy come on the scene, collector or investor by day, collector by night. I mean, just a snake oil salesman from day one. And I knew that, and I knew he would lose his ass like they all do. Eventually, it was all rosy, moving on the way up. You bought one time, it was double the price. It was just going up, up, up. Nothing goes up forever.
No.
And he found out the hard way. Guys like LaSmello Ball and Jawbone and Zion, and you name any one of those basketball players, and their cards are all down. So I try to get on there and I tell them, buy what you don't like. And I say it as a joke, and it is a joke. You should buy what you like.
Yeah.
But it's funny when you start putting yourself out there to like other things. Like when you want to buy something like this,
Dude, that's awesome.
I never liked this card 15 years ago.
It's got
Maybe
wieners flying on it.
maybe I liked it, but I never bought it. So now I had to pay triple,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So my point is this card is not going to go. It's not going to be a $50,000 card like a Mike Trout. Or it's not going to be $1 million one of one scribble Trout with his name smudged with a you can't even read a M. You can't make out a T. You
I know.
can't make out his signature, and
I
yet
can't
you're going to
figure out
spend $1
Shohei
million,
Ohtani's thing.
and that card is worth 100,000 now. Now I
Yeah.
guess somebody who bought it, it was musical chairs all the way down, and they have fuck you money evidently that I don't have. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm speaking from a guy who worked his way up from bankrupt to where I am today, you
Yeah.
know. And I'm very careful with the way I spend my money. I don't like to put it all in one basket. I like to have my assets 10% here, 10% real estate, 10% this, 10% that. And frankly, my baseball card collection is getting a little bit fat towards over that 10% level towards my net worth.
Yeah.
Okay. That's gonna give.
Yeah.
So either I'm going to continue to make more money in other areas, or my baseball card collection is going to get trimmed a little bit at some point.
Yeah.
So I mean, because this is the way I've lived my life, and so I try to teach this to people that you don't be spending $100,000 on cards and putting it on your credit card on these bullshit optic this and jerk off that and you know blue ice crush that. And so
I
and the
know,
other thing,
man. They're gonna
you
lose
want
their shirts, dude.
they're good. I mean, look, for
Dude,
90% of that shit is going to be a loser, and you're
yeah.
going to walk away with your hand holding your dick, and you're
Yeah.
going to be so poor at Christmas time that if you're not a boy, you would have nothing to play with for your kids, and you're going to be playing with your balls, and that's about it.
Yeah. I mean,
You know,
that's exactly right. I agree,
everybody,
man.
I've lived it,
Yeah.
so this is
I
why I
just
speak from experience. But people don't want to hear it, so I'm hoping that if one person is stuck with us this far, and I can teach them a little bit of that. I mean, look, buy what you love, buy these but don't forget these cards that are going to hold value. It's
these are
like
blue chip stocks, man.
it
That's what
really
they
is. I
are.
mean, why would you buy all penny stocks and not have
I
Apple or
know.
Microsoft or
I know.
Nvidia or whatever the fuck they are in your portfolio? And I'm not even that smart. I don't have those stocks. I just have mutual funds.
And
You
then,
know,
man, the YouTube community is so awesome. Like, I wish Brent would have been at Strongsville so I could have met him. Maybe that would have made him not want to quit. But
right?
then you got, if you just go on the algorithm and you go, like when I first got into YouTube or YouTube baseball card stuff, man, everything that was popping up on me was how to get rich quick, how to invest in baseball cards, how to start your baseball card business. And yeah, all the Jeff Wilson bull crap. And so, he's on like last week or the week before last, can't remember, doing a thing defending breakers. Breaking is great for our collective.
Because he's a shill for fanatics.
Well, he
I
has
mean,
his
they're
own
not. He's
breaking
putting all these.
company.
He's giving free publicity that fanatics demands for him to get product from them.
I
So I
know.
mean, it's just a total oxymoron. Anybody listening to that guy, and it's sad because they have a million people, and people that are new, they go right for them. But
Yeah,
this is the hobby.
yeah.
People are inherently stupid, Tony. You know
He's
this.
paying for his new card shop in Atlanta off his breaking enterprise that he's
He's got
doing
a
in
breaking
stock.
table.
I know, and
I mean,
man. Anyways, he's getting so much allocation. He's making a ton of money. They're throwing the base cards in the trash. If
yeah,
Top
it's
or
absurd.
somebody would start doing nothing but base cards in packs for kids, sell them
Yeah.
for $1 a pack. Don't put a single shiny thing in there so that the single mom can buy her kid a pack of baseball cards. Maybe they're already doing that. If they are, I don't know it.
Right.
But
They're
man,
not.
come on, they got to do something to help the kids, man, to get in the
It
hobby.
really is not a hobby for the kids right now.
No, it's
And
bull crap,
they
man.
everybody's talked about that. And the prices are sky high. I mean, and I saw a guy today again said that and he's one of the guys that comes out, he's a teacher as well. He's only been collecting about 3 years. He makes the funny thumbnails and everything. And he says, yeah, the hobby lied to me. Everybody's a liar. The dealers are liar, fanatics are liars. You can't buy the stuff at retail anymore. You got to buy, the hangers, whatever the fuck those are, for $20.
Yeah, I
And
don't
then
know.
you get those and you get nothing. And people spend $100, they get nothing. They don't want any more part of it.
Yeah, that's why
And
everybody's buying Pokemon because
yeah,
Pokemon doesn't have all the parallels and crap. I don't never bought a pack. This is what I've
no,
read. You buy a pack of cards, you got a chance to get anything. So they've
yeah,
made it affordable, and people are flocking to it, man. To a bunch of little
they are.
characters that never existed, but yet they're buying the crap out of
And
it.
they actually say that he had a card show the other day and a Pokemon broke out. In other words, like everybody, they
I
thought it
know.
was a baseball card show and it was nothing but Pokemon.
I
They're
know.
taking over those shows.
Yeah, because
So
they know
so
what
it's
they're doing.
growing. Hmm. And,
They have
and
to turn
you
it
got
into
people
gambling.
fighting over those. You have people fighting over those cards though. They go to Costco, they go into like Walmart's or whatever. And I heard Walmart's going to do breaking. They're going to have breaking tables in Walmart.
No
I mean,
way.
if you don't think this is jump the shark, I got news for
I
you.
mean, that is
Forget about SGC closing down, which that's a funny thing. Because the last time we were on talking about that, we haven't talked about that lately. How now all of a sudden PSA, hello, they're right next door now.
but I mean,
Get
big
out!
freaking deal, man. That doesn't mean anything. Do you really think that?
Bullshit. It
Come on.
doesn't mean anything. They're going to be sharing people. They're already sharing bad
Well, they work in the
holders.
same company, basically. That's not a big
Yeah.
deal. But
Oh
they'll just
shit,
be.
that place is.
Do you
Darren's
think it's
right.
down?
Moynihan's right. That place is gone in 18 months. He made that comment. He obviously knows.
You think
I
he's
mean, I'm
got
sure
some inside info?
probably.
They've been staying on his ranch with him.
I don't know about that, but
I
I
tell you
thought
who
they
ain't
might
staying on the ranch, Brent
me
Richard.
or me or you. We're not staying on the ranch. Brett Richards.
Brent ain't
Yeah.
going to his ranch.
Well, I did watch that. I haven't watched a whole lot of YouTube, I must say, in the last couple weeks. I've been really busy, but I have caught up a little bit. And I did see Mike, and I saw his response to that. And I think if you didn't hear him out for the whole thing, he started off as the negative Nelly, which I know he hates that term. But I think he's right too. I think Brent's right, and I think Mike's right in the same sense. I mean, you got to do it for you, and Mike is how long he's been doing it longer than anybody,
Yeah, like
and
10 years.
he's got, I don't know if I really don't even know how many subscribers he has,
Yeah,
maybe 10,000.
I think something
But
like that.
he sometimes only gets 25 comments. He doesn't get a whole lot of
Yeah.
engagement anymore
Well, I mean,
because
like me. What's crazy, dude?
yeah.
The one of my favorite videos was my second one. It was about the Babe Ruth autograph ball, and he signed it for this little girl, and how the little girl reminded me of my daughter, and she had just got done with her softball career. And I showed pictures of my daughter and that little girl, and I talked about I was pulled to that ball like nothing I'd ever bought, and I still feel that way.
No
That has
shit.
been my least watched video,
And
man.
that is incredible.
So it
Well,
is what it
well,
is. So if
so
you want to see the video, go back and watch
I
it. See
think
if
they should, because that is really a great video. And that, I don't know, did you also did didn't did Greg buy that for you when you were away?
yeah, so that's
On top
another
of
part of
everything
the
else,
story.
did you tell that story in the
Yeah,
video? You did. Okay.
I was at a wedding in Hawaii,
Yeah.
so it was a afternoon wedding, but it was evening when that was going on the auction. So I gave Greg my sign in and my
I mean,
passcode.
you only knew him for a couple months at that point. So, hey, could you, like, who did you go to, right? Hey, could
I
you
know.
just go in on my bid number and bid it up? I don't give a shit. You got
But see,
whatever.
that's the community we're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I told him what
Yeah.
where I wanted to go with it, and I said, just text me. I can answer text, but I can't be looking at my phone at an auction, you know. So he was
Yeah.
texting me, and he was all in. He had Mookie involved. He had his daddy watching, you know, and they were
That
all
was a
in.
spectacular item too. And
Oh, dude.
I think you're a lot like or like Orlando. I think like your grandkids and your kids will enjoy looking back on these videos that you've done, much
Absolutely.
like Orlando's kids. Like that's why
Exactly.
he originally did it. And
Yep.
and here's another thing. His videos, he never has any live. He never has anybody on. I don't, as much as I love him and I've always watched his videos, I try to always watch them. And I don't always watch all the way through, even,
Yeah.
because even he has subjects on there that I'm not interested in, or I just don't. I don't have the I don't have the time for it. Let's say
Yeah.
that for that. When I hear talk shows, I can do that while I'm working
Yeah.
in the
Or while you're
office.
driving.
I could put it in the background there. So
Yeah.
anyway, my best thing that we'll leave Brent alone for now, but we love Brent.
We
And
do
look,
love
I
Brent.
think and I certainly love that show that you do with Shane. And Shane is one of the good guys in this hobby. He's a great collector too. And you guys have a good thing together. So please at least do that once a month. Don't
Yeah.
leave, unless Shane just doesn't want to do it anymore either, or you come to an agreement. But don't quit that too, as well as give your channel. I think I told you that 2 months ago, Brent. Give your channel a break.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you need to do. But don't give your show that break. Do it once a month, because that's kind of like what I'm committing to. Show up on a live chat if you got the time. If not, screw it.
Yeah, I
You
agree.
know.
He does a great job, man.
Well,
So
anyway.
but if he wants to quit, that's his deal. I'm not going to tell him he's a terrible
Absolutely. Look,
person.
everybody's entitled to quit, and
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that are quitting and quitting collecting altogether and quitting YouTube, and that's great. I
Well,
mean, I wouldn't say I'm quitting, but I'm close. I'm really focused.
yeah, you look
I'll
focused.
show you two more cards. I
Yeah,
picked
that's
this
it.
one up.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Here, let me put you on the big screen.
All right.
Yeah, buddy.
I don't know if you can
That's
see
cool.
that.
Yep.
Thai Cobb night. What does this say? Caramel of some kind, standard caramel, I think.
Mm-hmm.
1910. Yeah, 1910. I always
Awesome.
like that pose. So it's
Yeah.
not centered. It's got my appeal. Nice on the back.
Yep.
And then we're going to show the card. Last card we show tonight
Oh, look at that.
that finally came to me
I
after
wish I had
5
one of those.
years. You have one, and you basically cost me 5 extra grand. Look, and it's got the look.
Look at us, buddy.
That's
Twin.
nice. And but mine has a trimmed seal on the back, the
Wait a minute.
PWCCA.
I do too.
Well, they've both been trimmed
Yeah.
and soaked. That's why they look so good.
Yeah, man.
I don't care. All
Honus
right, so
is or Honus, as everybody likes to say now.
that's Honus. I'm never gonna call him Honus.
Honus is going, he's going
Honus,
up, 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 up.
Honus, the bonus kid, the
Yes,
bonus. Yeah.
no doubt. Well, we did the live stream. Well, we didn't do it. We were watching it last night on Four
Hmm.
Collectors. And man, that was so much fun. I love those things. My goal is to make a funny enough comment that I see all four guys on the screen see it at the same time and all of
And
them laugh.
laugh.
That is my goal.
Yeah, I love doing that too. Of course,
It's fun.
they're just numb to me. I never win anything. I had the best comment of the night at the end though, but of course that was after everybody already had the three. I know I never win anything.
Yeah.
I can't even
And
win the funniest comment.
and then we got
So,
midlife is going to be, well, when you're watching this, it'll be tonight. So it's on Tuesday night. And then let's go
and
and
we'll
break.
be there for that. That'll be a great show.
Yeah. Do we want to
Got a
break
great
the
panel.
news about the little hobby palooza thing? Shall we break?
Yeah, go ahead. Bring it.
All right.
Break it
So
up. Yeah.
the odd couple is going to be featured on, well, we're on Saturday night, right?
Yeah, we have the top spot next to. We get to break in Jeremy Lee.
Yeah. So
So we're
we
right
can't
before
wait. We've
Jeremy.
got some stuff planned. It ought to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Petty's gonna have his grandkids there, so maybe it'll be the nicer, gentler Petty. We'll have to see.
They know how what a dick I am. Oh, look, Grandpa's going to cuss on TV.
That's pretty. That might be your best line of all time. All right. Well, speaking of that, you ready to
Yeah.
do the Petty minute?
Well, I want to set up the petty minute first because it's going
Okay,
to be
set it
more
up
than a
and I'll
minute.
find the
Yeah,
clock.
while you're going ahead and doing that. So, we've talked about these VRs, the GIF videos, how stupid they are, the Hall of Fame voting, the YouTube Hall of Fame voting, how retarded that is. Nobody watches it. It's all a bunch of guys, 50 guys that create content. I mean, you don't even have Jeremy Lee in the Hall of Fame, I don't think. He didn't even have, and if that guy's not in it, he started way before anybody else did. And he puts out that show, and he's a great interviewer. He gets these great guests. He actually makes a living from it. My point is, it's just, it's such an, you talk about keeping people out. It's a way to lock people out. This Hall of Fame, it's just fucking stupid. Okay, the only thing dumber is probably the Baseball Card Hall of Fame. And I'm going to tell you something right now.
Wait a minute. Are we ready?
No, we're not ready yet.
Okay,
We're
you're
going to
just
set
setting it
this
up.
shit
Okay.
up
All
for a
right.
minute. All right.
All right.
So this card right here, I cried for a year to get this on the Hall of Fame ballot. Ray is a Richie Allen fan from when he was a Philly. But I like the 64 because it's a rookie card. It's a rookie card. Rookie cards are shit. This card here told a story. Okay. You got 5 people that put it on the ballot. Out of all those shitty cards that were on there, you had maybe 8 good cards, and you had this one, and then you had just nothing but shit at the end. Literally, this card came in last place for the balloting. You would think that, and then when I talked to you guys, I mean, I literally was hot about this. And by the
You were
way,
pissed.
I need to take my blood pressure medicine before this petty minute again. You know how pissed off I was talking to
You were
you.
pissed.
Because you get Greg and Darren, they talk about the cards. They never said, but Ray knew it was my card, sort of like Dylan had the 75 George Brett card.
No, it was
I'm
the
sorry,
Yount.
Robin Yount,
Yeah.
fielding a ball.
Yeah.
There's nothing iconic about that. It's a rookie card of an average player. He was a nice player. I opened packs of 1975. He didn't. I also opened packs of 1971. You guys like to talk about this eye appeal shit. Up the ass, I've heard this eye appeal on every fucking show, Tony.
Yeah.
And you want to know when? I want to ask you a question. When did you first understand or realize eye appeal?
When I was a
That's
kid.
enough. Okay. When? No, when? Seriously.
I mean, when you were a kid, you knew what a good card looked like. You knew what a bad card looked like. Now we got this one guy starting up a company on Instagram called Eye Appeal Inc. And he's going to tell you if your card has good eye appeal or not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need that. I
Mike
can tell
Baker.
with my own eyes. So
Okay.
there you go.
All right. So you knew that. But for me, the first time that I realized after hearing all this shit, and I think back, well, when's the first time I heard about it? I'm the oldest guy in this group.
Yeah,
So
you're
I can
old.
guarantee you, none of you assholes out there watching this were even fucking born when this fucking card came out. All right.
I was
in
too.
the streets. I was
I
in
was
the
too.
streets opening these goddamn cards. This was a high number 650 in a short print series. When these cards are in sheets, there's 11 cards across and 11 cards down. This card was 1111 on the bottom corner. Okay. You could open up 1,000 fucking cases. I had 50 of these cards, spent thousands of dollars as a kid at a nickel a pack, stealing pop bottles, ripping 20s out of my mom's purse, stealing quarters from my dad, doing whatever I could to find this card centered, okay, with eye appeal bullshit. And I know Dylan knows. Ask Dylan how hard this card is to find center. He
Yeah,
knows.
Yeah.
But what I didn't hear out there with all these goddamn interviews, including John Mangini, who he was shitting yellow when this fucking card came out, because that guy, he may look 65 or 70, but he's only in his 50s. All
Yeah,
right.
he's my age.
Same thing with most of these old guys. I'm older than most everybody, except for Mr. Miller and maybe Orlando. And Orlando voted for this card. He realizes the cultural significance of this card and how hard it was. But I'm just saying, we as a block collected cards, and we would all look at this card for Richie Allen centered, and we loved Richie Allen. This guy was a fucking stud and a star, and he finally got his due. So with that said, I don't need to hear James Dr. Beckett go, make a face because he's black, because that guy's a stone cold racist. And anybody else who says they're not a racist, they collect black cards, Jackie Robinson and the like. This is your goddamn card from the 70s. You tell me one more culturally significant card. Is the timer on?
No, you tell me.
Well, the timer should have been on already.
Well,
You
here
should be
it is.
keeping
It's
that thing on.
going
Go ahead,
now.
keep it off now. So I'm just trying to tell you that this card here, I mean, it's more than a great card. He refused to conform. He got traded 5 times. He shows he was the most outspoken player probably from that era. This was taken in 1970, coming off of the Kennedy assassination and also Martin Luther King. He wasn't afraid to what do you call, like, to make waves out there, kind of like Kurt Flood. So to call this card and just to snuff it off and not even fucking talk about it, fuck your stupid Hall of Fame. I'll never vote for it again. You never had me on to discuss it or even talk about it. You sloughed it off like it was nothing. I implore you to give me one more fucking card that is more culturally significant than this, that shows facial hair. The first card in 37 years to show facial hair. And before that, it was 100 years. And Casey Stengel told the guy that had the facial hair to shave it off the next day. That if anybody was going to be a clown, it was going to be him. This guy.
I
Yeah, you
redid
had
it.
another. You gave me another. I didn't hear it, but I'm just trying to tell you, this guy was something. And this card, you see the photographer's pants here in the way. It shows the classic left field of Dodger Stadium. That's
Yeah.
the 3rd oldest ballpark in the league. This
Yeah.
guy was a monster. This card's impossible to find centered. Go find it. This card will be in that stupid card Hall of Fame when I'm dead, much like Richie Allen. But I urge you guys to put this in. I'm not voting. I'm boycotting the Hall of Fame. Anytime I see the card Hall of Fame, any talking about it, it's just a bunch of bullshit because nobody knows what they're talking about. Yeah, that's it. How'd I do?
It was good. So
That was
petty.
more than a petty minute.
So it was a petty 5-minute, but that's okay.
Okay. I had to get it out of my system.
But I got a question for you. What do you think about the 1971 Richie Allen card? Do you think
I like it? I like it. I think it's culturally significant.
There you go. Didn't you say when you were a kid and you sat in those seats that you kind of had that same view of him?
Well, I also did. Yeah. I mean, so for me, like my seats literally look right back down the third baseline. So at this time, I also remember as a kid seeing him hitting a home run through center field, through the top of the flagpoles there. So yeah, to me, it's a significant card. But not only that, I knew that it was significant to me. But when you type it up in Chat GTP or whatever that's GPT, it
Yeah.
says the card is culturally significant for these reasons. And not
Yeah.
only that, it is from the best set of the 70s, 1971.
Yeah.
It's a really hard card to find.
How old were you
And
in 71?
I was 10.
Yeah, that was right in the wheelhouse, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I was opening up 1979s when I was 10.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's not the 79s are not, nobody by that time, 72 and 73, everybody was wearing facial hair. After this,
Yeah.
the A's embraced it and
Yeah.
they went on a dynasty run.
Well, dude,
So-
we're out of time if we're going to keep it under an hour.
Well, that was a good petty minute. Thanks for giving me 5 minutes on that because literally, I really had that on my mind for a long time. And it's funny that cluster F last night with that stupid rate in the 50s cards with that. As much as we enjoyed it for 2 hours,
It was fun.
59, 58, 57, 56, 55, 54. It was just a joke.
Yeah,
All in
54s.
all.
There's no way that's the best set of the tops
I mean, I
50s.
don't know.
That's
Well,
bull crap.
how did Theo write that? 45% here, 45 on the back, 10% rookies and stars. I mean, the stars the set should say something about that.
I know. It was the
45% for the back. And then how did he do all the? I want to see the arithmetic that went into that.
I
Then
saw
you got
some
Chris.
guy even did a whole episode last week about the back of cards. Who in the heck was that idiot?
That was you, wasn't it? That was a good one. And you got Chris.
Man, you just dogging everybody tonight. You are
He didn't even know what he had going there.
oh my gosh.
Well,
Well,
anyway, I got my. Thanks for letting me get out on my aggression. I
well,
apologize for any kids with the f bombs, but we have a little special petty minute coming up on the Hobby Palooza
yeah, we're gonna
next
raise some
month. I
money.
think. Yeah, we are going to raise some money. I think it's for Signature for Soldiers again, like we did last year. I haven't heard that's the fact, but I'm sure it
Yeah,
is. And we're going to do something special, and it's going to be our first live show.
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So I love live shows.
I know.
Those are my
I
favorite
know.
because you never know what Petty might do next.
That's exactly right.
Right.
Well, man, it's been fun. We'll get together again in a month,
We
and
will.
then we'll do the live show like shortly thereafter. So we'll do 2 next month. So it'll be fun.
We will.
Yeah, that's in your
How do we
contract.
do two? No, I can't do 2 shows next month. We'll
It's
do
in
the
your contract.
one show, live show for. We're gonna keep them waiting.
Okay,
Maybe we'll pop on a
we
live, or we'll do something.
okay.
But I'm not doing that
Just
with
have
Fourth
your
of
agent
July.
reach out to my agent, and we'll
It'll
figure it
keep it
out.
fresh. They'll look forward to it more. That maybe we'll
Okay.
make them watch us on a Saturday night
All
because
right.
we said we were going to do live shows.
Yeah, we will.
And
Can
so
we
this
do?
is good.
Can we get us a song like Jeremy Lee has, the SATURDAAY?
Talk to your guy.
Yeah, I
Get
need
him
to
in
get my
there.
guy to write something.
Yeah, you
All right,
got a guy.
all right. Well,
All right,
man, it
man.
was fun. I will be talking to you. Peace out,
All right, man.
and yeah,
Keep collecting.
keep collecting. There you
Don't
go.
buy shit.